everybody, Sequoia here, and today I'm giving you an honest tarot deck review. I only have 4 decks currently, so those are the ones I'm going to start with, but let's jump right in. If you're new to this channel, make sure you're subscribed, give me a like, and comment below what your favorite tarot deck is. The first deck I want to start with is Salvador Dali's tarot deck. This deck comes with an enormous guidebook that is filled with paragraphs and paragraphs of descriptions. I really love the packaging it comes in, and all of the artwork was hand done by Salvador Dali. The pros of this deck are that it's beautiful. The artwork is beautiful, the presentation is beautiful, it's really stunning. It's also very deep. So all of the meanings of the cards really go into depth. They have history, they have advice, and the book even gives you descriptions in multiple languages. What I really love about this deck is that I can feel a very wise presence from it. I love to use this deck for really complex situations. And I like it because it's not really a feminine or masculine deck. It's very neutral. The cons to this deck are that I feel like the cards are really big for tarot cards, and so they're kind of difficult for people who are like me, who are tiny and have tiny hands. Another con of this deck to me was that it's very difficult to learn or memorize the cards and their meanings because of how deep and complex they are. I'm probably going to be using this book for the rest of my life when I'm using this deck. Another con about this deck is that it doesn't have any reversals in it, so you have to choose whether you're going to intuitively read them reversed or just not read reversals at all. Overall, I would say if you are a beginner, this deck is very advanced and it would be very difficult to use, while if you are advanced and you're very comfortable in tarot, I think it's a great deck to channel with. The next deck that I'm going to be reviewing is the Guillermo del Toro tarot deck. Immediately, one of my favorite things about this deck is how morbid the artwork is. It's extremely dark, and my Scorpio moon loves that. Actually, there are many pros to using this deck. The first one is that it's very masculine. So I like to use this deck if I'm giving a reading to someone with very masculine energy, because I feel like it resonates more to them than if I were to use some of the following decks that are more feminine. Another thing that's really awesome about this deck is that all of the numbered suits are basically cards that play off of the major arcana. This means I don't have to learn an entire meaning of this individual card. I can just memorize that the number 8 has to do with losing at some sort of conflict. Then I can memorize that cups have to do with emotions. So this may be that you lost an argument or that you feel lost. Then I can use this card to play off of the major arcana. So say I'm dealing with the Chariot. Now I'm seeing that maybe you feel like you've lost at the journey. Maybe you've given up the journey. I also like this deck because it's really easy to learn. This was the 3rd deck I ever got, and I just love the way that it was put together. It also has an extra card added to it, which is Guillermo del Toro's card. This could be either a pro or a con, depending how you look at it, but this card really tells stuff to you bluntly. So this is not a super positive deck. This deck doesn't say, oh, everything's always gonna be okay, everything's magical. This deck is more of a blunt awakening, and it will tell you how it is, even if it's not so pretty. One of the only cons I could really think of is that he only listed partial reversals in here. So he'll give you like a sentence for if the card is reversed, and it doesn't really go in depth on that, so you really have to know intuitively, and not all the cards have explanations for reversed, so you really have to use your intuition if you're going to be using this deck. It doesn't do all the work for you. Alright, this is my favorite deck. This is the Muse Tarot. I love this deck because it gives me Cirque du Soleil vibes. It's very mystical and dreamy, and also very positive. Here's an example. I just really resonate to the artwork used, but I am Divine Feminine, so that's why. This is a very Divine Feminine deck. So I usually don't use this deck if I'm going to be reading someone with very masculine energy because of how Divine Feminine it is. Sometimes it won't resonate to them. Another thing I love about this deck is that the meanings are very positive. There's always a better way to look at it. Even if you're going through something, there's something positive that you can take out of the cards that you're dealing. One of the cons is that there are no reversals mentioned in the guidebook, so you have to choose if you're going to read them intuitively alone or not read them at all. The only other con that I could think of is that the Muse is how they refer to God or Source or the divine, which is totally fine, but everything in the guidebook says she. So whether it's talking about the Muse, it's a she, or talking to you, it's saying her, she. And so that's part of the reason I feel like it doesn't resonate to masculine clients. It definitely has a Divine Feminine bias. The final deck is the one and only Rider-Waite deck. This is the classic tarot deck. I love the size of the cards. I feel like they're perfect. I love the thinness of them, how to shuffle them. They're just done really well. This is the OG classic. This is the best way to learn how to do tarot. And I would never tell anyone to skip learning this deck before moving on to other decks, because this deck will really get you the solid foundation that you need to be a tarot reader. One of the major flaws of this deck is how outdated it is. Almost everybody appears to be European, which isn't like a negative thing. It's just that it won't resonate to everyone. But that's all tarot cards, you know. Some decks just won't resonate to some people, and then other decks will resonate to them. And that's why I think you should really have multiple decks, so that you've always got something that you know will resonate to the client that you're working with. Or even you, like some days you'll have a really great day, resonate and be a vibrational match to a certain deck, but not to a different deck. All right, that's my tarot deck review for today. If there's any more decks you want me to review, drop them below in the comments. Tell me what your favorite tarot deck is and why. Tell me what your least favorite tarot deck is and why. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Much love to everybody.